Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks so much for joining me today. Today I am participating in a mixed media hop, and the hop came about through a Facebook group called Handmade Happiness. I will go ahead and leave a link for that group below. I will also leave a link below for the next person in the hop, so I hope you check that out and have fun along the hop. So for my project today, I decided to go ahead and stick with a card because I'm a little short on time these days. Last week, my third graders started third grade, and that has been quite time consuming because we are not allowed to go back into schools yet. And so we're doing it all from home, and it's been quite a challenge. So I went ahead and decided to go ahead and create a mixed media card. I am doing mixed media with alcohol ink, and so I am using some graphics craft plastic, which is my preferred method to use with alcohol inks. And I've gone ahead and taken this Dress My Craft stencil along with some Liquitex modeling paste. And I went ahead and spread the modeling paste through the stencil and let that dry completely. And then I'm going to start with the alcohol ink. So I am using my pipette, which is just a plastic pipette, my baby aspirator, and some 91% isopropyl alcohol that I have in a cup. And so I'm just going to take my pipette and put a little bit of that alcohol on my card panel. And then I'm going to start dropping in the different inks. I had the different brands and the ink colors that I used up on the screen. And so I'm just going to drop those inks in and let it spread out, and then either use a little bit more alcohol to spread it, as well as my baby aspirator. And then I do also take a heat tool to try and move some of that ink around. And then I'll just go ahead and play with inks a little bit and move the color where I want to. I let that dry, and then I am using some Dina Wakley white gloss acrylic spray to add a little bit of white droplets onto my panel. And then I am going to go ahead and I have cut out this is a Kaiser Craft die, and so I have cut out that die to place pretty much as my focal point on my card. And I've cut that out using a piece of tonic, kind of like a pebbly or textured paper, which you can't really tell when you look at it. And so I let this panel dry overnight, but I am still going to go ahead and use my embossing bag because I will be taking this rubber stamp, which has just some really small fine lettering on it, and adding some of that to my panel. And so I'm just going to take my Versamark and put the stamp over several areas on my card. And then I'm going to take some white embossing powder and I will emboss that. The great thing about the craft plastic is you should still heat your tool up fully before taking it to your panel. And as you can see, it melts it a little bit, or I wouldn't say it melts it, I would say it warps it more than it melts it, because it does flatten back out. The difference between that and Yupo is that Yupo, if you hold heat on it, it will definitely melt it and it will not bounce back to its original shape. And once I have heat set that embossing powder, I'm just going through and trying to figure out my layout. It took me a very long time to try and figure out how I wanted this. I wanted a lot of the background to show, so I didn't want a huge focal point, but what I finally decided on was I have some sentiment strips from Tim Holtz, and it says, "Hello, friend," and I think it says, "I believe in you," or something like that. And so I've just adhered those to some strips of torn vellum, and I've attached those to that die cut circle with a tiny white clothespin. And then I will go ahead and adhere my panel to my card base. And then I'm just adding a 1/8 inch foam strip to pop that up because of the dimension in the a clothespin. I could not put that flat. So I went ahead and popped that up, and then for extra stability or adherence, I went ahead and I also added some liquid glue on top of the foam tape. And then I'm just taking some vellum pieces and gluing those down. And then I'm taking some flat back kind of domed, I don't know if they're called teardrops. What I'm using though are the bead fillers or the vase fillers for flowers that you can get at Michael's in the floral section. Comes in a huge jar for not very much money. So they're a little bit thicker than, say, the embellishments for a card, but they work perfectly for this project. So that is it. That completes the card. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to check out the description below for the next person in the hop. As always, if you like this video or found it informative, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to spend with me, and I will catch you next time.